What's going on? It's the RapNerd, and I just got back from seeing Robert Eggers' latest film called Nosferatu, and this is based off of the silent film of the same name, I believe, in 1922, which was also an unauthorized adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula, so it's kind of based on both of those. This film takes place back in 1838, and I believe it's called Wisburg, Germany, and an estate agent is tasked with going to Transylvania to close a deal on a property. But when he arrives there, he realizes that he's not dealing with just anyone. It's Count Orlock, who is a vampire who has way more sinister plans that involve the estate agent's hometown in Germany and his beautiful wife. So I'm gonna leave it there because if you've seen the trailer, you already know where this is going and where it leads to. And if you're aware of the adaptations that this film is going for, you know what's happening here. But all that being said, with all of the expectations and different versions of this movie out there, I mean, last year we even had The Voyage of Demeter that touched upon a little bit of the same story. But yet and still, Nosferatu delivers something epic in horror. Unbelievable. So let me start by saying horror is my favorite genre because I feel like it is a creator's playing field. You can really take nothing and make something in this genre. So when there are budget constraints, it's up to the filmmakers and the cast to just get creative to make it work, right? And that's what I love about it. But every so often there is a horror film that releases with a blockbuster budget that makes my imagination and inspiration explode because you can see that big budget. You can hear that big budget, and Nosferatu is that for 2024. Holy moly, what a movie. It's easy to say the visuals in this film are ridiculous. We've seen it in the trailer. The heavy use of shadows to not only hide Nosferatu, and the film is just dark and creepy because of the way things are lit and things aren't lit for you to see and not see things. The film is a creep fest, but again, as a horror fan, we don't get blockbusters on this level. You know, they're not common to get a $50 million produced horror film, and you can see every ounce of that in this film, like I said earlier. First of all, I have to talk about the elephant in the room first, and that's Orlock himself, played by Bill Skarsgård. Oh my God. The thing that I did not expect from this movie, really, is how terrifying it is. Like, I knew it was going to be creepy just from the visuals and just the idea that this vampire is who he is. And in my opinion, this vampire design is the scariest of them all. I've always thought that. But I was legitimately like a kid at certain points in this film with how terrifying things were. Like, when you are introduced to Orlock for the first time, I felt myself quivering to the point where, like, my skin got goosebumps, and I was literally in the theater like this. Just, I couldn't believe it. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it now because the voice here, oh my God. Oh man, the tonality of it, the accents, the growling in, just the breathing, the command, the octave changes, like, Bill took this voice different places, and that alone made this movie scary. And not to mention, this film has quite a bit of jump scares that were built up in a lot of good ways that were very effective. And even the use of shadows. In the trailer, you see this hand stretch across the city, and it's a shadow. And they do a lot of things like that in this film that are terrifying. They even recreate the most famous shadow sequence that we've seen in the old Nosferatu. I love that Eggers threw it in. I was hoping that he would do it, and I just love how it looked when it happened. Lily Rose, you know, Johnny Depp's daughter, who plays the wife of the real estate agent who's played by Nicholas Hoult, her performance in here is something of a nightmare. She does so much with this role. She has to show vulnerability. She has to show being terrified. And then there's other stuff in the film that's not even in the trailer that she does that turned the scare level up to a maximum. And you know it. The first sequence that happens, where I'm talking about it, when it happens, is unbelievable because I was not expecting that at all. And when it just, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it, man. But you were in for a treat with just her performance if you haven't seen this movie. But if you have, holy shit, she absolutely destroyed this thing. Nicholas Hoult as well, with the way he's played this film, because another aspect that I love is the vampire lore here is executed and shown in a way that I have not seen it done. We've seen the influence that Dracula, or, you know, the head vampire has had over its minions. We've seen, you know, telepathy. We've seen spells being cast, but they do it in this film in a way that I've never seen it done, to the point where things just felt confusing. And Nicholas himself plays that part so damn well when these aspects happen. And all of the other supporting actors in here did their thing as well. William Dafoe is in here, and I feel like he's just the lighthouse guy who found land just as crazy. And you have Aaron Taylor Johnson, who plays a great friend of Nicholas Holt's character. I forgot his name. Not one person dropped the ball on their performances. It's crazy to me that Robert is able to write with this type of diction that they speak with. Everything sounds so poetic and Shakespearean, and not just the accents, is what's actually being said to each other in conversation. Everything is written so densely and sharp of that time period. You feel like you're time traveling watching the movie. And then we move on into the sound design. The lack of sound to the sound, both are played in different ways to make your skin crawl. They do a lot of great things with wind blowing and just the natural sounds of being inside a house or a large castle or even a ship. Everything is amplified to drive up the atmosphere, which is another big thing. The atmosphere this entire time feels eerie, creepy, dangerous, unsettling. At no point in the movie are you given a chance to kind of go, whew, okay, this is a chance for me to breathe and just kind of recollect. You don't get that at all. Eggers is so specific with the camera movement as well. There are a lot of wonders in here through conversation, moving around the room to let you feel out the room, that plays into scenes later, which I thought was perfection. And the wonders even move in different ways to provide scares or just make you feel like something is going to happen and nothing is. So your level of tension is already here and nothing has even happened. So when it does hit, I can easily say without a doubt that this is the best origin Dracula story put on film. No question about that. And I love how animalistic Orlock is in the film. It makes what you associate with vampires and their art of seduction even weirder and creepier when it is shown. The last thing I say before getting out of here is this movie was advertised as a gothic horror tale, and it's nothing short of that, from the infrastructure of which you're at in different places, but the soundscape as well. There are a lot of utilization of these big vocals that remind you of an opera, which makes everything feel even more dramatic in certain points that yet again elevate the film to an even higher place in ways I've never seen. So I absolutely love this film, and I was waiting to do my top 10 until I see this because I had a really big feeling it was going to creep in there, and it definitely has crept in my top 10. I would even say in my top 5, so I got some thinking to do, but that just shows how much I love this film and what kind of experience it is. And as a horror fan, this just solidifies 2024 being the best year of horror, in my honest opinion. So let me know in the comments what you thought about the movie. And if you like this kind of content, make sure to like, subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, thank you. And until next time, peace. RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy. Instead of banking on it, now rapping is just a hobby.